Adam Lerner, and today I wanted just to talk to you guys a little bit about shooting parties or shooting events and kind of the mindset to have when you're shooting an event, and some of the things just maybe to keep in mind when you're going to an event and you want to take images, and maybe you don't really know everybody at the party, maybe it's in a tight space. So there's a couple of things that we can think about. Very first thing I want to do is I want to clear my screen. So I use Shift and Tab, and that cleared all of the other panels out of here because I just really want to look at this as a whole, okay? Or in the grid mode. Now, if we just kind of quickly scan through this, the shots have kind of a similar look and feel, and I really wanted to go for that with this. I've already edited them. I gave them, some kind of a treatment. One of my presets, just give it a little bit of a vibe, and I just wanted them to have a consistent look. Now, this was a launch party for some shoes, these kind of fancy English shoes that are branded by GrahamFowler.com, or original Graham Fowler, who is a menswear designer that I do all of their photography for. So if you go to GrahamFowler.com, and I will leave you guys a link, you will see all the photography on their site done by me. It's been a great gig, and Graham's an amazing guy to work with. He's incredibly creative. He's got a really amazing point of view, and he teamed up with Trickers, this brand of footwear. It's an English brand. I think it's been around for like 200 years. And he now has them making certain shoes specifically, for his store, which is kind of amazing. So this was the launch party for this event. And what I wanted to just say is that, sometimes you go to a party and you've got this huge camera and a giant flash, and people are really intimidated, and, it can be a lot. So what I decided to do for this occasion, because this was kind of an informal event, is I brought my D700, which is still a big camera, but it's not as big as the D3S, and I brought the 35mm f2 for a number of reasons. Number one, it's a very small lens, so it's not really intimidating. That setup actually, here, I have it right here. Let me go grab it. The setup is actually not that intimidating. I mean, this is a pretty kind of, it's still a honking camera. I mean, there's nothing small about it. But if we were to compare it, let's say, hang on for a minute. If we were to compare it, let's say, to a D3S with 2470, there's definitely, a bit of an intimidation factor when you're pointing this thing in people's faces at kind of an informal event or an informal party. And I mean that in the sense that, this wasn't like some work for hire where, I went and I was hired to take pictures, and there was an expectation. And I think that there's probably going to be, differing views on this whole thing. But whatever the case may be, I decided to travel light and to travel small and just bring one lens. I just brought the 35 f2. The 35 f2 on FX is really nice. It's wide, but not so wide that you get distortion. And, you can really fill the frame well, getting close enough to your subject, so that, when you're doing party shots, I really like 35. I think it's a really good way to go. F2, you've got a nice wide aperture so that you can shoot a little bit better in low light. And actually, I opted to use the built-on flash, and I used the flash in TTL. Now, granted, these are party shots, and that's really what I was going for here, okay? So just to give you guys a sense of what this is like, it's like, it's not like I'm walking around with my camera and saying, "Excuse me, would you mind if I took your picture?" There's just kind of a level of confidence where, you have your camera, you hold it up, you frame it, and you shoot it. And ideally, by holding it up and doing so, you're going to try to hopefully get people to give you eye contact. Some people try to avert their eyes, but as you can see, for the most part, a lot of these folks, if they weren't specifically candids, did make eye contact. So, I mixed things up with a little bit of detail shots, some exteriors, some interiors, some product shots, and then just some party-goer shots, just to keep it candid, just to keep it natural, and just to have a nice record of the event. So I hope that helps you guys if you're thinking about going out and just kind of shooting something like this. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below or email adamlernerphoto@gmail.com, and we'll see you soon.